Rewar Mingi is a collective name for the area south of Lingkot village, covering the whole of Peninsula constituency and part of Shela Assembly constituency. Peninsula is the trading center of this vast landmass of deep gorges, river valleys, mountain ridges, and home of the indigenous War people, a subgroup of the Khasi tribe. This area is also the major producer of betelnut beetle leaf broomgrass, Khasi mandarin oranges, and other horticulture crops. The tourism industry in the Rewar Mingi area has seen an exponential growth for the last decade, ushering prosperity and providing employment to a huge number of people in the region. Today, we are on our way to Pyrnai village, one of the few villages where you can find the traditional practices and indigenous symbols and heritage still intact. But most surprisingly, Pyrnai is a revelation in terms of the existence of the highest number of ficus structures in the whole of the Khasi Jaintia Hills. The distance from Shillong to Pyrnai is around 58 kilometers. The village is about 8 kilometers southeast from Peninsula, located alongside the road to Nongjiri. It takes hardly half an hour along the Serpentine Road to reach our destination. The village sits on the edge of the mountain-like tabletop next to Lindem village. It is surrounded by greenery, and towards the east, the land slopes down a long distance all the way down to the river below, which acts as the border of the Khat Arshnong area. There are 321 households in the village, which has a population of around 1700 people. Pyrnai is the headquarters of Raj Mauja, a traditional administrative unit under Hima Khairim that comprises of a number of villages including Mauba, Lindem, Maulundam and Doprap. It is one of the few Khasi villages where 70% of the population belong to the indigenous religion, and it is here that the indigenous traditional rituals and rites are still maintained and practiced. Pyrnai is a heritage village, and it is from here that the Shat Mauja, a popular traditional dance, originated. We are in Pyrnai village, the site of a traditional council. I'm standing on a venue where the traditional Dorbar or council has its annual meeting. Behind me is the Madan Lingdo, where they perform traditional rites and rituals once a year. Pyrnai is a heritage village, but most important is that it has 24 root bridges, the highest number of root bridges. The Mao Lingdo or Mao Niam, located in an open field, is a megalithic structure or monument of religious significance. It is a symbolic structure that is connected to the Shat Lingdo or religious dance ceremony, which was conducted by the Lingdo Niam or priests of the Maukon clan. The megalithic monument was also of the Maukon clan. However, it has been 40 years since the last traditional dance or Shat Lingdo was held here. When I inquired as to why the Shat Lingdo was not conducted for a long time, the Sardar explained that the keepers of the indigenous religion of the Raj could not perform the rituals as per the given traditional way. The Sardar narrated that 40 years ago, when the last ceremony was conducted, there were dead amongst the members of the community because their religious rites were not followed as per tradition. It was a fear that members of the community in the Raj would face difficulty, disease, and even death if there were no one to properly conduct the religious ceremony.
Ubasing ya kanaga Raj hang ne ya kisnong ka thau hi hapo jong ka Raj they ushotep they ujaj mokon te namar kata usyong mnichiwa sha kham shatrai haga purunyo tomar te they utaru wan ra ya kanem gurukom hapo jong ka Raj jong i te ga headquarter de ka Pyrnai jong i hangta sedang no na kata kanti orang pensiat kata ka bangi khot ka shat moja te kabedeng kong iru ka bami nang kong kata ka shat moja kata ka shat de nang ka jaga.
We were then taken to another heritage site where a massive flat piece of rock known as Mouse Aim was located. As per legend, there was a woman named Saw Mauja who dressed as a man held court with the chieftain or aim of Hima Khairim on this stone monument. It was a time when, due to reasons unknown, there were no traditional male head in Raj Mauja, and the woman Saw Mauja, representing the Raj Mauja, met this aim here to discuss important matters concerning governance, tradition, and religion of the community. Henceforth, this stone monument has occupied an important position in the heritage of Raj Mauja and is known as Mouse Aim till date. Today, Pyrnai, like most villages, is striving towards progress. The leaders of the village are trying to maintain a fine balance between tradition and development. Education of the community is taken seriously and they have achieved 100% literacy rate in the village. A remarkable feat indeed. There are 4 lower primary schools and 2 secondary schools to serve the educational aspirations of the young boys and girls. We soon head for the root bridges located on the steep slopes facing the Khatarashnong area west of Pyrnai. Along the way, we meet a number of women carrying stones in a khaw, a conical bamboo basket for use in some infrastructure amenity which was sponsored by the government's hugely popular and beneficial Enrega scheme. The custodians of the matrilineal society were busy moving up and down the stepping stones carrying their loads. The wages for 100 days' work have helped in supplementing the income of the farmers. Since its introduction, the Enrega scheme has been providing gainful employment to the villagers, and most importantly, it has been successful to a large extent in improving the infrastructure and public amenities of remote rural communities in Meghalaya. The Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act (Enrega) was enacted in 2005 and seeks to improve the rural infrastructure, augment land and water resources, and strengthen the livelihood resource base of the rural poor by providing at least 100 days of guaranteed wage employment in a financial year to every household whose adult members are willing to do unskilled manual work. The program largely contributes to natural resource management by mandating 60% of its total expenditure every year on water harvesting and conservation, afforestation, plantation, land and soil development, and other related works. The difficult topography of steep mountain slopes and deep river valleys have not been an obstacle to the community at Pyrnai. The hard-working, innovative farmers have managed the land well to their advantage, planting crops like broom grass, pepper, and rearing bees and livestock. To access their fields, orchards, and plantations, the people have ingeniously constructed a network of mountain trails and passages that crisscross the mountains and hill slopes.
Mình xóa cái nông trường nông apa yang dalam perai cái siang saya kena ketanwar badang sesok ke jaka để cái nông priang để cái sakai haga bakut ki no chane ki khot ke pernai thì cái này pat ga jengking ciri imat ah bagi dang siang ke dang sa ki badai hi ro ke ju por ki nong rep ki nong riang để haba ki don kampan lek rep lek riang ban yai ban yeng để ki ne ki vesna ban laj ban suk ban yai ban yeng ni nama ba ki ba kong san để uso upai de
In seemingly impossible terrain, they have used the natural resources available to engineer their pathways. We were taken by our host to a number of these magnificent ficus bridges and cliff-hanging sidewalks supported by the roots of the ficus elastica. The ficus structures in Pyrnai number an unbelievable total of 24. The highest number that have survived and are being preserved in the Khasi and Jaintia hills till date. We could, however, see only about half of these bridges and structures today.
We found something very interesting here that talks about this root bridge ecosystem in Pyrnai. What we see here is a footpath which has been made from stones and boulders. And this is held together by these ficus roots which have been pulled from up there. And these roots help to maintain the stability of this footpath. This is something which is another function of the ficus structures, the ficus tree here in Pyrnai.
The people here not only had to live and survive in this extreme landscape, but they had to endure even more harsher weather conditions, where the heaviest rainfall in the world affect the lives of the people for about 6 months in a year.
I'm walking in this very difficult terrain. If one look at it, it would seem impossible to do any kind of cultivation here. And these bridges are very important to the people here, to the cultivators, because without these bridges, it would have been impossible, because this bridge lies on a slope, on the edge of a slope, and from there you can see that there used to be a waterfall. Now it's a dry season, you don't see any water, but during the monsoons this would have been a rushing torrent of water.
The bridges and ficus trails blend into the green landscape. It's only when you are up close and near to them that you realize their existence. Like shadows hidden between the trees and the canopy, they live a life of their own, seeking nourishment from the forest floor. They exist in complete harmony with their natural surroundings and with the humans who created and nurtured them.
So I'm in the second bridge called Jinke Wa Talang, and this will give you a better perspective of this particular bridge. It is placed from this point to that point across a waterfall. Without these bridges, it would have been very difficult to go to the other side.
The Pyrnai Trail is a long and interesting one with a number of surprises along the way. If one were to walk all the 24 ficus bridges and structures, it would normally take more than a day to complete the trail. The discovery of the expert craft-like engineering skills of ficus roots by the community left us in awe. It appeared that nothing was impossible in the Pyrnai Trail. The ficus roots were not only providing stability to the forest soil, but acted as effective mechanisms against soil erosion. They were like check dams at regular intervals, preventing any landslide and rock slide, which would have caused irreparable damage and devastation to the broomgrass plantations, bay leaf groves and orchards on the hill slopes of Pyrnai. The community here have been dependent on bay leaf or tezpata for many generations. Many individuals have sustained their families through selling this cash crop in bulk. We continued our journey and walked down a rather steep flight of stone steps, passing through a bay leaf grove on the way. The next leg of our travel included another level of the Pyrnai trail, where the ficus structures are much bigger and impressive. It's on a lower level, and to get there we had to cross a patch of jhum land which had recently been cleared for cultivation. It's at an inclination of some 65 to 70 degrees, a difficult way of passage but not impossible.
So this is the third bridge, the Jinking Bridge A it's called, and the unique thing about this bridge is that it's got a kind of a gateway, a hollow in the middle of the tree which one can walk through. This is something unique and quite different from other bridges.
The next part of the trail literally passes through a ficus tree ecosystem where the presence of a large number of ficus trees make up the landscape. Understandably, we soon found out that the relatively small areas amidst an extreme landscape where there are an abundance of ficus trees are also the home of many root bridges. It takes a long time for the roots of the ficus elastica to mature and support a fully grown root bridge. The roots need constant care and nourishment, as well as craftsmanship of weaving the roots and connecting them to other support structures like bamboo stems and boulder rock anchorage.
This is another ficus bridge, and this is probably one of the longest bridges, Jinking Wa Shinteng. And the unique thing about this bridge is that the deck of the bridge is totally roots. There are no stones inlaid, no flat stones, no soil, nothing. And this is the unique thing about this bridge. It's got only roots that have been put together and just like planks on the floor of a house. And this is a real fine example of a ficus bridge. And here is another bridge after the Wa Shinteng. This is the Jinking Wa Langkijen. This is a continuation of that bridge, but there's a different stream flowing across from here. And this too lies on one side of the slope of the land.
A man can spend a lifetime looking after and caring for these ficus structures. He passes on the same knowledge to future generations to upkeep these heritage structures, which after many generations inevitably becomes a way of life and culture for the community.
What you see here is one of the best examples of bioengineering. This is a root bridge, a suspended root bridge. What you see here, these roots are suspended over a cliff face that runs hundreds of feet down below. These cobblestones, flat stones, are supported by this array of roots
And come, I'll take you for this bridge. There's a lot more to it. This is a truly amazing landscape. One of the most amazing trails I've come across. This trail would not be here if not for this roots of the ficus tree, which act as a railing, as a guardrail for people to walk comfortably along this trail. Pyrnai has a number of surprises. This is a bamboo bridge, and just next to the bamboo bridge we have these roots, these ficus roots, which have been extended from one end to the other end, and these roots in a matter of time will replace this bamboo bridge with another ficus bridge across this crevice. This is Jingking Wa Mauslang, and as you can see, I'm at a loss of words to describe these bridges in Pyrnai. This is a huge, massive ficus tree which is rooted in a single block monolith stone, and this is what supports this bridge across this Wa Mauslang. We are on our way back to Pyrnai. We've covered quite a number of bridges, and this trek is climbing all the way to the top. It's a not so difficult trek because the trail as such is being made against the gradient and it does not go against the slope. So comparatively, this is a moderate and a very nice trek.
Pyrnai is about a community who have great love for the land around them. There are all kinds of fruit trees, bananas, edible plants and cash crops that have supported the livelihood of families and households for many generations. The forefathers, a community of horticulturists, have landscaped the entire outdoors to the convenience. The growers and farmers transform the forests and jungles, the mountains and extreme terrain into a massive garden and terraces that appeared organic, wild and natural, but were actually planned, cultivated and arranged carefully. It has taken many generations to carve out this horticultural collection of orchard groves and plantations. Pyrnai village has grown and expanded through the years, and it has seen many changes in and around the countryside, but it never did alter its innate character, nor was it under any pressure to change its cultural moorings. Pyrnai is a cultural and religious center in the Khasi Jainti Hills. It is the village where the dance Shat Mauja originated, and a host of other forgotten cultural dances are still practiced. They are a collection of 8 sequences of cultural dances still performed, namely the Shat Kyuying, Shat Rinkang Khle, Shat Shilyang Kjat, Shat Tingko, Shat Kinjats Ir, Kapawar, Shat Kinjok Ha,
and Shad Mauja. We stepped back into the village and were taken to another heritage site located on a hilltop in the Pyrnai plateau. It was a place where the stone culture of the tribe remains and is still a part of the history and oral tradition of the community. In between the bamboo grass was a massive ossuary or mausoleum where the skeletal remains of the dead were interred a long time ago. A huge rounded slab of stone measuring approximately 4 feet in diameter, supported by short thick stone pillars, made up the ossuary. There was a hollow compartment under the slab which presumably used to hold the remains of the dead. Nearby and very much part of their final resting place, about some 25 meters away, were 3 standing monoliths of unequal height and size, which were known as Mao Sakhi. It was believed that these religious and cultural remnants of the tribe's ancient past were sacred in the sense that they cannot be moved or tampered with. Surrounded by bamboo grass, they stood today as sentinels and witnesses of the forgotten past of the community in Pyrnai. Further uphill, some 200 meters to the east on a grassy hillock, we walked to another ancient place where the freestanding monolith called Mao Pinyang Lama was located. The monolith on the top of the highest piece of ground in Pyrnai was visible from all around the countryside. Mao Se Lama literally means the monolith where a flag was planted. The time when a flag was flown from this taller height was to convey any urgent or important communication or message to everyone living in the surrounding villages. According to our guides, usually it was a Lama Yong or black colored flag which was flown from the towering monolith. Today the practice of flag flying is no longer practiced, and what remains here are just the megalithic symbols of a cultural past and stories of a way of life that once prevailed in these lofty hills. After the great earthquake of 1897, which shook the whole Khasi and Jainti hills, the tall rock tilted from its original vertical position and to this day remains inclined at a 45 degrees angle.
We've come to the end of the day and we are standing on this landmark. This is the stone called Mao Pinyang Lama, which has a lot of significance for the tradition and heritage of Pyrnai village. Pyrnai village has been an amazing discovery. It's all about culture, tradition, root bridges, amazing landscape. I hope you have enjoyed this journey with us. Until we meet again on another day, Kublai.